This is Tickle, which is my self-hosted version of itch.io, which you know itch is great. I still use itch. I still upload all my stuff to itch today. But for your own little website or your own portfolio, it's nice to have something that's singular and kept away from, who knows what other people might find on itch if they were looking at your stuff and you were trying to just showcase your work. But also, I think it's great to not have everything centralized. So, having the option to self-host this yourself, whether it's just for you and your local network or on your own little personal website, it works great in that capacity too. Um, it's just simple HTML. There's a little bit of JavaScript running for the user experience here. It creates pages that look just like itch pages with some slightly cleaner sections for controls and credits. We have the ability to download binaries. We also have the ability to play games in the browser. So I can't remember if I uploaded the color bind. I did. We can run our Unity WebGL builds here. We can go back to our games page and we can run our Godot WebGL builds here. And we even have the ability to run, if you're a weird person like I am and like to make games for older consoles, you can run your Sega Mega Drive or your Game Boy or your Super Nintendo or even your PlayStation game here too. Um, and then I also have an interest in 3D printing. So I like to make 3D models and upload them to MakerWorld and Printables and Thingiverse. So we have the ability to upload our models here too and set licenses and make them downloadable or not, depending on if you want to just show it off or if you want to have it as a project for people to use. Um, we do also have the ability to do tags. So, you can see we have tags on one of our games here. So we could set up multiple tags and just find games by those tags. We also have the ability to filter out by genre. And likewise, we have a search page here. And again, all this is running just off of some static HTML files. So this is what the project looks like. The server is only required if you really want it for admin to generate the static pages, and then you can use those static pages to upload them to your own server or just run them straight in your folder. And you can see here, this is running in a folder straight from the file, and it behaves exactly the same as it was on a web server. The only key difference here is you cannot use the WebGL content. They require a server, and that's out of my control. So yeah, it's pretty cool. One of the cool things is, which I'll go into now, is we have this public facing endpoint. So this is on port 8080. If you do want to run this as a web server, this is what you'd be exposing to the public internet. And then we also have an admin panel at 8081. So this is what you'd lock down yourself. And again, this just is to make it easier to host it without having to deal with authentication and auth providers and all sorts of other stuff. Whether you expose this to the internet or not is entirely up to you, and how you do that is up to you as well. But if you're not going to do that, you can just run it locally, Python server.py, and generate your website, stop using the server, and upload your HTML files. So let's go into what it looks like to create this website from scratch. It's pretty straightforward and pretty easy. So to run Tickle, all you have to do is run server.py. Again, no pip dependencies, which change every 20 seconds and are broken a week later. This is just simple, straightforward Python server.py, and your server's running. You'll notice it created an output folder. This is where all the static HTML content will go, so that after the fact, when you close the server down, you don't have to have the server running to use this stuff. You can just upload it to your website or use it straight from the folder. So now we have our site running. So if we load 8080, it will automatically pop us over to 8081 to set it up for the first time. So we have our GeoCities is what we're going to call this, and we're going to call it games.geocities. And make sure I don't put the old version in. .org, and it's my personal collection of projects, and I am Shane. So we'll add a new game in a sec, but we have some nice helpers here to point you in the right direction should you need them. We're going to import from itch. So this is one of my favorite features as I've been testing it out. .itch.io. So it will pull in all your games from itch. And one thing what it's doing is it's pulling in all the text and tags and descriptions. It's not pulling in the and images, sorry, and it's not pulling down the actual game binaries or the WebGL files. So the reason for that is A, I don't know if you can actually do that, and B, I don't want this to be a tool that is easy to rip off itch.io profiles. So there is a manual element that if you're a developer, you probably want to tweak the builds that are going up on your own personal website. You want to put the WebGL builds yourself, that kind of fun stuff. So I'll leave colorblind for now just to show what the actual individual game is like being imported, but we can pull all our games in and say import selected, and that's going to do, as I said, grabbing the images and tags, descriptions, etc. It will need some tidying up because we do have some features that breaks out, like the controls and the credits for games. Yeah, I'll show this now. So for example, if we go to Galway Game Jam, we have some controls in here, and we can preview this page, and it looks like a really nice itch page. We have our controls and our credits in our actual description, and we have a section for that down here, so we can quickly take those out, and we can just remove that there. And did I get the last one as well? I think I did. So we're just going to say this was made in Unity, and it is a prototype. It's technically a game jam, so we'll set it as a game jam. It is a game. We do have features, as I mentioned, for the different types of stuff. Everything can be uploaded as a downloadable binary. Games can be WebGL, and 3D prints we have a model viewer for. Be nice in the future to have some sort of book reader, EPUB or PDF, and then like that, something to play sound files like a Bandcamp directly on this page itself as well. But we'll put in here, this is it's an adventure game. Yeah, adventure. So it's 3 a.m. My typing isn't great. But we have quests, questions. We have quests, we have flying, and we have Irish language. So we can say this is also made with Audacity and Sprite and Blender. And it is a mouse and keyboard game. So we do not have a web player build for this. So if we scroll down, we do have downloads. You can see the images that were imported as well. You can change these if you like. We have a Windows build, so we're going to choose the file to upload, and that is going to be our Galway Game Jam file. And then for controls, we're going to do WSND as move. We're going to do E to interact. We put that in the second, interact. And we're going to do space is jump / fly. And then credits, we're just going to say dev was Shane. Let's just say code. Code and 3D modeling. Not something I do often, but something I can do. I also have this field here for, if you wanted to do a LinkedIn or link to somebody else's website for crediting. So, totally up to you to fill it in if you want, and it makes the name clickable. We can add an extra link, so if you want to do a GitHub source or YouTube trailer, all that kind of fun stuff. So we can generate this page and we can preview it, and you see, much nicer in how we present the controls and the credits here in this case, and all the extra information there. So cool thing then is if we wanted to do colorblind, which is this game here, we can do as individual game all by itself. We get that information popping up, beforehand, and we can edit that before we actually import it. So like that, we can take out the credits and the controls and that kind of stuff. We can add the tags straight away. And when we import this game, we do have the ability to upload a WebGL build. And you can see here it's automatically detected that it is a Unity game. So Unity has slightly different hooks for the WebGL stuff than something like Godot or Phaser. But if we preview this game here, we can actually run that in our browser. So one key difference is we cannot run the WebGL builds in our local file only. We have to have a web server for that. So then for people like me who like to do weird projects and make games for systems that are older than they are, we do also have emulator.js, or emulator.js rather. So I have a bin file for this particular game. And let me see if I can go and find it. Yeah, so we can upload our ROM file and we can say it is right to repair bin. And that was the theme for the year. And we can set the system to Sega Genesis. So again, if you're a game dev and you make games for Super Nintendo or Game Boy or N64 or PlayStation, you can use this to showcase your games on a web page, which I believe itch does not currently have the feature to do that right now. So we can just click start our game and have it muted. But we can just use the keyboard to then control our game, and people can play our game as if you know, it was a WebGL build, rather than having to fuss about with emulators or potentially copy it to a cartridge. But this will run on an actual Sega Mega Drive, so totally up to your users how they want to do it. We can also add this as a download as well. So if we go back here, you know, we can say it's for, I guess, platform other, and we can grab that file and make that actually downloadable as well. So if we generate that page, you'll see it up here as a download, and we can have multiple downloads. They all get their own button. So again, real quick, we can just show off what a Godot game looks like. Godot game. So create. I won't bother filling in all this other stuff, but we can upload our game, and it's this one here, and you'll see it's detected a Godot entry point. We can generate our page, and we can see our game loading here, and we can control all the stuff in the game, and we can make them full screen, that kind of thing too. So pretty neat. And then lastly, again, so game dev, retro games. The last thing for me then is 3D modeling and 3D printing stuff. So if we do a 3D print, we can click create here, and we can set the type to 3D print, and we see we don't need some stuff. We don't need to know a game engine because there likely isn't one. We can set the category to homewares, whatever we want, tags. We can set the license, and then I'm just going to pick up some models that I've uploaded, downloaded myself elsewhere. So we have the ability to have multiple files. We can say whether these are viewable only or downloads, because this might be a portfolio and you might have a file that you don't want to share, but you can show it off to people. So we can generate our 3D model page here, and we can show off the different models with full control over this. And we can even download the files just like we would if they were games too. So that's it for all the different kind of things right now. We might add more, as I mentioned, for books or albums. I think that would be pretty neat. But on the site settings side of things, what we can do is we can show a tags part to the page, so you can then filter by puzzle games. You can do your searches based on those too. You could say, just show me 3D prints, just show me books, just show me audio, just show me the games. All that kind of stuff's pretty cool. If you put in your actual site URL here, this will help with if someone or yourself shares this to social media or Discord or something like that, it will unfurl the URL and give you the image of the game, the description, the name, and all that kind of fun stuff. We can do, support links if you want to try that out. So, up to you to decide which ones you want. None of them are hard-coded at all. It will just link to whatever that page will be. But these will show up on the page at the footer. So again, if we preview our site, we now have those down the bottom, and they'll be on the bottom of every page. So if you want to try and get some support for yourself, good way to do it. And then we can also add in whatever socials we want here. So, you do your contact email, you do your website, your Blue Sky, your itch.io page, because, we're not trying to replace itch. We're just going to have our own version of it for ourselves. You might want to do your GitHub as well. And we'll just do blah for all of these. And likewise, if you have your tags visible, they will show at the bottom of the tags section. And they'll link to wherever you want to link. If we don't have the tags visible, they will show on the footer of the website next to your supporter stuff as well. And then the final part of this is we do have the ability, you can just go into the shared CSS and you'll see all the settings there. So all the stuff you can like the colors, easy colors that are available are at the very, very top. So if you like to play around there, you can do that yourself. But we do have some pre-built themes, kind of, not great on the theme imagination. So I just kind of picked stuff that's based on consoles. So we have a slightly lighter theme. We have our Super Nintendo, and I'm going to flashbang you here at Modern Nintendo with a white, with red text and black. It's up to you how you want to pick these. So I like the Sega Mega Drive. We can turn off the background. We can make it into something else. We can make an image that we can tile or stretch. Let's go. I'll stick with the squares because it matches the Sega aesthetic. If you want, you can add more stuff. You can always put in your GitHub page URL at the top. We can add in our website or other things down the bottom, cities.org. And if we save this, so one thing you'll see, this is kind of a small example of what will be on your main page. So this is your header, the title and section, the copyright, the bottom thing, and then the buttons. So if we preview on this, you'll see the header with the buttons, and you'll see those bottom links as well. And then all that said, we have a Windows 98 theme because why not? It looks great. I love it. So yeah, I mean, that's it. What we can do now is we have our website generated. So, we can close the server down. So let's go in here and just close that and close this whole page. And of course your server won't work anymore. But as I mentioned before, if we go into our output folder, this is your website. You can just drag your index here and you can use everything just as it was a live hosted website, but no dependencies, no node, no pip, no databases, no authentication, no headache. I was going to say it's pure HTML, but it's not. It's HTML with a bit of JavaScript and 3JS and Emulator.js. So some dependencies, but it's as close to old ways of doing it as possible. It is static HTML. We can't be perfect, but we can be darn well close. So yeah, that's my page. That's my video. Thanks for watching. Hope you like it. Hope you use it. Love to get any feedback, comments. Check out the GitHub. Do some fun stuff. Yeah. Thank you.